Konnichiwa! Welcome to Kensho Quest. We're going to share tips on how to purchase and use the JR Rail Pass in 2023. Our family has used the JR Pass on multiple visits to Japan. It's one of our favorite ways to get around. Most recently, we took trains from Hokkaido in the north, south to Tokyo, and on to Kyoto.
We'll share the basics of how to use the JR Rail Pass, how to reserve seats, the route we took, recent changes, and tips for families traveling with kids.
First of all, what is the Japan Rail Pass? The Japan Rail Pass, or JR Pass for short, is a multi-use ticket valid on JR national trains, including Shinkansen bullet trains. The JR Pass is available to foreign visitors who are visiting Japan for sightseeing and have a temporary visitor visa stamped into their passport. You can purchase a pass that's valid either for 7, 14, or 21 consecutive days. There is a standard pass for riding in standard cars and a green pass for riding in first-class cars. Our family has only ever used the standard pass, and that worked well for us.
Also, this video is specific to the National Japan Rail Pass, which starts from the northern tip of Hokkaido all the way down to the southern island of Kyushu. If you are interested in a regional pass, we will leave a link in the description below where you can get more information about that. But I believe most of you will be interested in the full National JR Rail Pass, and that's what this video is about. So what exactly is included? Well, there are 6 railway companies that make up the JR Rail Pass, and they are JR Hokkaido, JR East, JR Central, JR West, JR Shikoku, and JR Kyushu.
The Japan Rail Pass is valid on the JR Express trains, all rapid and local trains along the JR lines, some JR local buses, the JR Miyajima Ferry, as well as airport transfers like the Narita Express and the Haruka Express. We took the ferry when we visited Miyajima Island years ago on my very first visit to Japan.
And of course, the Shinkansen bullet trains are included, however, with the exception of the Nozomi and Mizuho lines. However, that's not really a big deal because there are other Shinkansens that travel on those same routes. More on that later.
The JR Pass does not include most subway lines. For those, we use a rechargeable card such as IC, Pasmo, or Suica card. And we just hold on to these and keep them for our next visit to Japan. And that's for short trips getting around within a city.
Should you buy the JR Rail Pass? Well, if you are going to be traveling multiple regions in the country, for instance, faraway places such as Kyoto, Tokyo, and up to as far as Hokkaido, then absolutely yes. We have purchased the JR Rail Pass many times over the years. However, we don't always buy it. It really depends on what you're going to do. So for instance, if we're just going to Tokyo to visit friends and we are just traveling locally, then we just use our IC cards and we do not purchase the JR Rail Pass. So in general, the JR Rail Pass is great if you are traveling long distance.
There are passes for adults and for children as well. For children age 6 to 11 years old, the cost of the JR Pass is half that of the adult's pass. Children who are under 6 years old can ride the trains for free. However, you can't reserve a seat for them, so they may end up sitting on your lap. On this most recent trip, we bought 3 JR passes, so it was 2 adult passes and then 1 child pass for a 9-year-old. Both our 4-year-old and 1-year-old did not require a pass. It can get a bit cramped if you're sitting 5 people to just 3 seats. However, most of the time there are open seats available and we were able to spread out a bit. Also, if you're riding in a non-reserved car, those seats are just a first-come, first-served basis, so if there's a seat open, your child could sit down. And a pro tip here, if you're traveling during a Japanese holiday, make sure you reserve your seats far in advance. Or if you're planning to go in the unreserved car, get there to the platform early so you're one of the first on board to make sure you'll get a seat.
Where to purchase your JR Rail Pass? Most of you will be purchasing your JR Rail Pass in your home country, and you can do this up to 3 months before your journey. The easiest way to purchase the tickets are online, and there are many websites where you can do this. However, our preference is jrpass.com because they make it really easy to get an add-on, which is a pocket Wi-Fi, and I highly recommend you get one even if you have an international data plan because it's just great to have that backup, and you can do it during the checkout process. We will leave an affiliate link to jrpass.com in the link description below. Let's go ahead and walk through the process of purchasing a ticket. We are on jrpass.com. Let's go ahead and select an ordinary seat for 1 person for 7 days. Over here, you can see you can select a child, and you can see that the price is half of an adult ticket. Click to book, and here we'll enter name, and let's just add a arbitrary date of birth. and just pick some start date as well. And if we scroll down here, we can see that there is a cancellation protection policy which we can purchase for a little over 2,000 yen. That might be worth it to you if your travel is unsure. Next step, here you can double check your eligibility. Let's go ahead and confirm this and click the next step. And here is where you can rent the pocket Wi-Fi as well. And again, I highly recommend this because it makes it really easy to do this because it's all in English, and you can just pick up your Wi-Fi in Japan at the airport. Here you can choose the length of time that you want to rent the pocket Wi-Fi, and you'll notice that it says unlimited data. However, you are capped at 3 gigabytes per day. If you use more than that, then you will be throttled, and that speed can be quite slow. So please be aware of that. Sometimes it was unusably slow, and sometimes it was still okay. Here we can choose which airport we want to pick it up, and you can also return it at a different location if you are flying out from a different location, which is what we did. But actually, in our case, we returned it by mail, which you can do, but you will pay the shipping if you decide to return by mail. And finally, you can have a meet and greet if you want. Anywhere from 1 to 3 days later, you will receive your exchange order via mail. You will not get the passes by mail. You will get your passes once you visit a ticketing office in Japan and present your passports for each person who will be receiving the pass. So all members of your party must be present with their passports at the JR ticketing office. A lot of people are concerned that there are just so many websites selling JR Rail passes that they wonder which one's legit. Totally understand with that. So I'm just going to throw another one into the mix. It is Klook.com. You may be familiar with it. They're actually really big in Asia, and we use them a lot to purchase attraction tickets, such as tickets to Universal Studios Japan in Osaka. Can you purchase the Japan Rail Pass in Japan? The answer is yes. However, this is a temporary thing, and we do not know how long this option will be available. Also, it is more expensive to buy the Japan Rail Pass in Japan versus in your home country. We paid about 4,000 yen more per person for the pass. If you do want to purchase the Japan Rail Pass in Japan, this is the process. You want to visit an official ticketing office here in Japan. Currently, these are only at the major stations. We bought ours at the Osaka Station 1 here in Osaka, Japan. We went to the ticketing office, and you need to show your passport for each person that will be purchasing the pass. You will receive the actual passes, not the exchange order. You will need to specify when you want your passes to be activated, and once you activate them, this will be for consecutive days, either 7, 14, or 21, and once activated, they cannot be canceled or changed.
Lost pass. What happens if you lose your JR Rail Pass? Unfortunately, it is not replaceable or refundable, so just don't lose it. We kept all of our family's passes together in a safe place.
Here's how we used the Japan Rail Pass on our most recent trip to Japan. After spending 3 weeks playing in the snow in Sapporo, we activated our JR passes and we headed to Tokyo for 5 days and then farther south to Kyoto as our final destination. So as you can see, we use this mostly to get us to our farther destinations. Currently, the Shinkansen only goes as far north as Shin Hakodate, which is in the southern portion of the island of Hokkaido. So in order to get there, we had to take a limited express train from Sapporo to Shin Hakodate. That is a 3.5-hour train ride. However, it is a beautiful ride and I highly recommend it. From Shin Hakodate to Tokyo, we took the Hayabusa Shinkansen. This is a reserved seat only train. More on this later. We had about 20 minutes before our departure to Tokyo from Shin Hakodate, so this gave us plenty of time to go to the mini marts, go use the restrooms or whatever. But take note, at this station and many of the other smaller ones, there isn't a huge variety of food. It's mostly Japanese bento boxes, snacks, and a lot of junk food. So if you want a different type of meal, make sure you purchase your food ahead of time in the largest stations such as Sapporo or Kyoto or wherever you are. The journey from Shin Hakodate to Tokyo Station took right about 3 hours, and we spent the next 5 days in Tokyo visiting friends and visiting other tourist destinations. However, we were not able to use the JR Pass on all of those routes, and for those, we used our IC cards. Here's a pro tip. You can use the Navi app, which will show you all the JR routes that are available in your area. On the 6th day, we went from Tokyo to Kyoto using the Hikari Shinkansen. There is also the Nozomi, however, that is not available to JR Rail Pass holders. But no matter, because the Hikari is almost as fast. So we had 1 extra day when we arrived in Kyoto. However, we were tired and we just didn't even use it. This type of itinerary can also work great if you are just on a 2-week holiday. The key is you want to enter Japan, in one location and leave in another. So in our case, let's say if you flew into Sapporo and you flew out of Kansai Airport in Osaka. So let's say you spend 3-4 days in Sapporo and then you activate your JR pass and you head to Tokyo on the same day and then spend 4 or 5 days in Tokyo, and then you still have a couple days left on your 7-day pass. So then you can head to Kyoto, Osaka, or you can even go all the way far south as Kagoshima, Kyushu. And again, just as a reminder, if you are traveling during the holidays, make sure you book in advance because the trains can be completely full and you don't want to be left without a seat. And also, some of the trains, such as the Hayabusa Shinkansen, is 100% reserved only, so you cannot get on it if you don't have a reserved seat. Reserving tickets. Booking a reserved seat versus a non-reserved. Some trains have both reserved seat cars and unreserved cars, such as the Hikari Shinkansen. Again, the Hayabusa is 100% reserved only. And with the JR Rail Pass, it's not necessarily easy to do this because you either have to go into an office or book it online. And if you do it online, you still need to go and pick up your tickets at the office. With all that said, the easiest way is still to go into the office. What you want to do is look for this logo, which is a person reclining in a chair. It is called the Midori no Madoguchi, which means green window. Now, once you get there, the line may be long. Yes, this is a possibility. However, in our cases, it always moves pretty quickly, and you get up there and the people are usually very helpful and can help you get the seat that you want. What happens if you miss your reserved train? This actually happened to us when we were going from Nagoya, connecting in Tokyo, up to Aomori. Now, once we got to Tokyo, we missed our train. And our train from Tokyo up to Aomori was the Hayabusa Shinkansen, which means reserved only. So we just went to the ticketing office and was able to rebook it on the next train. If your train has an unreserved car, then you don't even need to do that. You can just get in line for the next train that has unreserved seating. Let me show you how to book an online reservation through the JR East website since it is in English. Let's go ahead and click on Seat Reservation. Here we purchased our tickets elsewhere, so we're going to just look over here and I'm going to choose the Tohoku area. And I'm going to search by line because to me this is the easiest way, and we are taking the Tohoku Hokkaido Shinkansen. We are departing from Shin Aomori, and then we're going to choose Tokyo as our final destination. And we're just going to choose some arbitrary date here and time and enter the number of passengers and click on the search. And here you can see different times and the length. If we go a little bit later, you see that the train will arrive at least 16 minutes earlier. Let's look at that one. Let's just choose that one. Click on select. And let's look at the seat map so we can choose the seats that we want. Let's choose one closer to the back because we like to be near the back or the front of the car so we can go and find the bathroom and or drink machines quite easily this way. We'll choose those 4 and hopefully no one will sit next to us so we can use all 5 seats for our kids. Confirm. And more confirmation here. Yes, let's go ahead and view our reservation here. And it's going to ask you where you want to pick up your reservation tickets. You will need to go into the JR office to pick these up and choose a pickup date. There you have it.
Reasons to get a JR Rail Pass. Trains are one of our favorite forms of transportation while traveling as a family with young kids. It can be faster to take the train than go to the airport. With the airport, you have to get there, go through security, wait for your plane. With a train, just make sure you do show up before the scheduled time for the train because likely it will leave right on time. We find that trains are more comfortable than airplanes. It's okay to get up and walk around, let your kids stretch their legs. The bathrooms tend to be more spacious than airplane bathrooms are. There are some seats on the trains where one row can spin around so you can have 2 rows of seats facing each other if you're in a larger group. However, that wasn't allowed recently due to COVID. Here are some more reasons why the JR Pass is worth it. It's an easy way to help you see places in Japan that you might not otherwise visit. Taking the train is much better for the environment than flying. Compared to an airplane on the same route, the train will use 88% less energy and produce 92% less carbon emissions per seat. With the JR Pass, you can save money versus booking each of the trains individually, and it may also save you money compared to taking an airplane flight.
Let's see how much it would cost if we purchased these tickets separately versus the price of the JR Pass. All right, let's use our example. We are going to start from Sapporo, and we are going to Tokyo. After Tokyo, we will head to Kyoto. And you can see that our savings is 11,880 Japanese yen. And let's see what it would cost on a typical airline. You can see it's $353. And also, you'll notice that this is flying from Chitose Airport, which is 45 minutes south of Sapporo, going to Haneda in Tokyo, and then from Haneda to Kansai Airport, which is on a man-made island, and more than an hour train ride to Kyoto. So you got to take these into consideration in these extra fees. Also, $353 is a lot more than the cost of a JR Rail Pass, which is currently about $220. 29,650 Japanese yen.
Train amenities include the following. There is a luggage storage rack, or you can store small bags in the overhead right above your seat. There are bathrooms, there are areas to get up and stretch your legs and walk around a bit. There are vending machines. These usually have drinks and possibly snacks. Also trash cans to get rid of the bottles from your drinks. On one of the trains we took, there was a snack car that came by. There's free Wi-Fi, also power outlets for charging electronics. And it is a very smooth ride on those bullet trains. Food for your train ride. I would not count on there being food available on the train itself. Many of the trains we took did not have a food car on board. However, most train stations, there are plenty of options for purchasing food to bring with you onto the train. There are often bento boxes available, snacks, little markets where you can get drinks as well. It is okay to eat on the long distance trains, and most people do bring food on board with them. We always like to bring lots of snacks, especially since we're traveling with kids. That helps make the journey much smoother. We've got a New Year grab bag, snack bag here. What are they called?
Fukubukuro.
Yeah.
Basically, fukubukuro just means bag, but it's a New Year's thing as well, where it's like a grab bag, and it could be really good, or it could be white elephant.
Let's see what we got. I think we got yummy snacks in there. Okay. Ooh, Sodi found a bag of nuts, Haru.
Goodness,
That looks good.
That nuts look good.
Oh, some rice crackers. Oh, some fancy truffle potato chips. I think I'll take the potato chip. Oh, Haru says the chocolate's for me. Sounds good. You want to open these? We normally bring our food on board the train. One time we did get to the train station plenty early, so we purchased food at a deli and just sat in the station to eat, and then whatever we didn't finish, we brought on board with us. You ready to eat, Sodi? Haru, what'd you get?
I got food box.
You got a special bento.
She's a fancy girl. She saw that? Okay, Sodi, let me get you something.
Recent changes to the JR Rail Pass. First, you can temporarily buy your tickets while you're in Japan. I hope they will make this a permanent thing, because it's a great system to have just in case if you decide later on in your journey, like we did on our last trip, to purchase the JR Rail Pass. Second, they no longer issue the booklets. Before, you would get this booklet with a stamp on it that said JR Rail Pass, and you would show it to an attendant. This would mean you would go to the side, you wouldn't go through the normal gates, you would go to the side, show your pass, and they would let you through. Instead, now you get an actual pass. This is the same size as a Shinkansen ticket, so when you get Shinkansen ticket, you'll actually have two. You'll have your Shinkansen ticket and your rail pass. In most cases, you're going to need to stick both of these in through the machine, and make sure you retrieve it at the other end. If you don't, you will have lost your pass, and it is irreplaceable. New luggage rules for the Shinkansen. This depends on the weight and the size. First of all, the maximum weight of a piece of luggage you can carry on is 30 kg. The maximum dimensions is 160 centimeters length, width, and depth. Any pieces of luggage that are larger than 160 centimeters but less than 250, which is total length, width, and depth, must be reserved in advance. If you do not make the reservation, you will be charged a fine of 1,000 yen. Any pieces that are larger than 250 centimeters length, width, and depth are not allowed on the Shinkansen at all. When you make the reservation for your luggage, you will usually get the seats that are the last seats in the car, and you would put your luggage behind your seat. Otherwise, every ticket holder is allowed 2 pieces of luggage, and you can put these in the overhead compartment or in the luggage storage located in the back of each car. And if you want, you can also put your luggage right in front of you if there's room. And there are also hooks on the back of each seat, so you can hang a purse or a small backpack. What if you have too much luggage, or you just don't want to deal with the hassle? If you look around, you'll probably notice that a lot of Japanese don't travel with much luggage. You're wondering, are they just really traveling light? Well, the chances are they are having their luggage shipped. And for us, once we discovered this, was a game changer. In particular, there's a company called Kuroneko, which is Yamato Transport. There's another one called Sagawa, and there's a few others, but those are the major players, Kuroneko and Sagawa. Our favorite is Kuroneko. You're gonna see them everywhere. That means black cat. You're gonna see them driving down the street. You're gonna see guys pushing cars around. What the service allows you to do is allows you to ship your luggage anywhere in the country and quite quickly. So for us, being a family of 5 and long-term travelers, we actually take everything that we own with us. So we have to have everything shipped. Instead of taking the Shinkansen, we only take small pieces of carry-on luggage, and anything of large size or weight, we have it shipped. So what we do is we either go directly to one of their offices or have them come to our location where we're staying and pick up the pieces of luggage. The price depends on the size and weight, and just like with the train, there are limits to the size and dimensions of each package, so please contact them. If you need assistance, there is an English-speaking line. I will put a link to that in the description below. Let me give you an example of how we use Kuroneko service. So when we were in Sapporo, we shipped our luggage 2 days in advance to Kyoto. Now, even though we weren't going to be in Kyoto for 7 days, we still had it shipped to Kyoto directly because we didn't want to have to deal with our luggage in Tokyo because we were going to be staying in a small hotel and we didn't really need all that extra stuff. And now this is the beauty of sending your luggage this way, is you can actually choose the delivery date of the items. Now, this may depend on some of the locations. Some of the locations, they will tell you they cannot do this, but in most cases, and at least for us, whenever we check the box of when we want it delivered, it was always delivered on that day. So look for that box where you can actually select the date and even a time range of when you want your luggage delivered. So when we arrived in Kyoto 7 days later, our luggage arrived around the same time we were there. We just dropped off our luggage again at Kuroneko. The service has been fantastic here. They actually were extremely thorough, verified address and everything. So there's probably a Kuroneko going by right now. Anyways, fantastic way to send your luggage to get it to where you need to go, especially if you need to take the trains or any form of transportation for that matter. Kuroneko, highly recommend. Which Shinkansen do I take? For me personally, this was a big one, and it took me a while to figure out which line goes where. So let me break down some of the major ones for you. If you are heading north to Hokkaido from Tokyo, you are going to be taking the Tohoku Shinkansen. If you are going from Tokyo down south to Kyoto or Osaka, you will be taking the Tokaido Shinkansen. If you are traveling south from Osaka as far south as Kyushu Island, you will be taking the Sanyo Shinkansen. And for the island of Kyushu, it is the Kyushu Shinkansen. I'll list some of the other lines in the description below. Let me show you a website called hyperdia.com, which is a great way to find out routes and timetables. Let's go ahead and enter Shin Hakodate as our starting point and Tokyo as our destination. We'll just choose an arbitrary date and we'll just leave all these checked just for fun. Let's click search. And as you can see, it gives us many different options on the route, different available trains, different times, and different lengths of time to get to your destination. And here is a really cool interactive map on jrpass.com. You can use this to get a sense of all the Shinkansen lines because they're in blue. And the green ones are other lines where you can use your JR Pass. So it's really helpful to give you an idea and to picture where you can go.
If you're planning to visit Osaka, Japan, please also watch our video with tips and hacks for visiting Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan. We also have a previous video from a trip years ago showing all the places we visited while using our JR 7-day pass. We're a world schooling family traveling the world full-time, so please subscribe for more tips on traveling, especially for families with kids.